When they come in and tell me it's all rainbows and sunshine and unicorns, it's not. I know it's not. It's like, what are you hiding from me? It's my fault anyways. I'm at the top. If we screw it up, I hold it. But just tell me what we need to learn so we can work through it and getting through this. So your system methodology has really been helpful in bringing shields down so people are like, hey. Hey, I'm Mike Ungaro, and welcome to Fish Factor. I'm CEO, visionary, and business co-owner of the Kings of Fish TV series on Amazon Prime and the legendary San Pedro Fish Market. Thanks to our extremely loyal customer base, we became the second most visited attraction on the entire Western Seaboard, serving over 2 million guests a year. Here, you'll get a behind-the-scenes look at running a multi-generational family business since 1956. Subscribe now so you don't miss it. All right, today I get to introduce someone who has been a big influence on me and the San Pedro Fish Market, my friend Ron Macklin. Ron created the Macklin Connection, a 7-step program that helps people believe in themselves, trust one another, and move past the stories in their heads that hold them back. He guides people to define their stand, which is what you will do, what you won't do, and what you might do. His work has shaped the way we lead and grow at San Pedro Fish Market by helping us connect, row in the same direction, and show up with honesty, authenticity, and vulnerability. Ron, welcome to Fish Factor.
Mike, thanks for the invitation.
Yeah.
And I appreciate everything you do for like your family and your teams and the LA area. I mean, it's a legendary place where people go and get to be with their family and your family.
As of us, so we're recording this today. Today's date, I don't know when this will air, but today's date's October 2nd. And October 1st, which was yesterday, we finally reopened, or I shouldn't say reopened. We finally opened in phase 2 of our temporary project, which has taken 30-some freaking months. We were open for 6. The plan was 6. So now we're open, operating. I haven't even had time to stop by. I went by a couple of nights just to see, because at night it's all string lights outside. It looks beautiful.
Yep.
But before we kind of jump into what I want to ask you is what I was saying earlier is there's 2 systems that we've implemented into the company. The entrepreneur operating system with our mutual friend Nathan Fox and now Michael Moore.
US, yep.
Yeah, Mike's our implementer. And then sort of in the background, I was working with you. I've been talking to you a lot about what you were creating, which became the Macklin Connection. And I always looked at it as EOS really helps us to organize the company, right? You have all these different components, people and processes, like what's your goals, what's your vision, the traction. But it doesn't work if you don't have everybody rowing at least in the same direction. Maybe not in the same boat. It'd be great if we were all in the same boat, but at least in the same direction. And I was just running up against that all the time. And what you really helped me to see was where the breakdown was. And we've had such a huge shift in the culture since we started working with you on that. So thank you for that. And before we get into how that works, I really would love if you could just kind of share your origin story leading up to how you created this system.
Yeah. So first, I hold my first role in life professionally was a recovering engineer. So we would get together and talk about how we think everything's literal and certain and perfect. So in a world where you're an engineer, right? Like you're good with working with math and metals and materials and systems and all that. But I wasn't doing engineering. I was doing project management, leading teams. And I found it to be like scary and fun and interesting. And when I stepped into it, the world of this service, right? So we were doing service on power plants, specifically nuclear power plants. And we were doing that in a way that 35, 40 days is how long an outage took. And every day that you're down costs about $1 million.
Wow.
And that's not the cost of the people that are there. That's the cost of you don't get to make electricity that's worth $1 million. So it's the cost plus the lost revenue. It's expensive. As we begin to kind of look at it and say, how do we make it go faster? How do we get it to go faster and faster and faster? But we also, like it's nuclear, so it's got to be safe. It's got to be reliable. It's got to be predictable in that space. So how do you get people to do that. And the people that would come in to work in the outages, like their fundamental was, well, however long this lasts, this is how much money I make. So if I make it last longer, I make more money. Right? So I don't want to go fast. I want to go slow. And a lot of the craft, they worked 1, 2, maybe 3 outages a year.
Wow.
So, and I say craft is the craft labor. And so how do we, the mechanics are sitting there going like, how do we turn this into something that like can make more money for the company, but also a better life for us? And it came real quick to that. Like we have to get along. Like we have to know each other. We have to pull together. Like what'd you say, rowing in the same direction, in the same boat, in the same world, right? And so I started to run a lot of experiments on like, how do I get everybody to row in the same direction in the same space? And what kept showing up, because there's a group of people from age like 65 down to me at 23. We're trying to figure it out as we started to get to know each other.
You were 23 at the time?
Yeah, I was.
Wow, I didn't know that. Okay. I've heard a little bit of this, but I didn't know. I never put the age together.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Fresh out of school, right? Like first year, right?
Wow.
And starting to put this together. So by the time we get to about 25, we had built some relationships with each other, and we began to be authentic with each other and talk about like your kids, your failures, your arrest records, your IRS issues, your everything, right? And all of a sudden we started to trust each other. Now, how do we do that in a way where we really can do that quickly? Because you bring people together, and then you build a team, and then you do an outage, and then you disappear. And so we had to figure out, how do we get to the place where we can do that quickly, fast?
Yeah.
And we kept wondering, like, because then you can't do that because you're going to take away craft money. They'll never go for it. And what we learned through our experiments were people really wanted to be a part of something great. More so than the money, they wanted to be a part of something that made a difference in the world. They wanted to be like on the winning team. Mm. They wanted to go home at night and tell their family what cool stuff they did that day. Mm-hmm. They wanted to be like connected with other people. Wow. And as we kept doing this, like, how do we make this? And there was a whole bunch of us working on this, but it was like the common thread was I just kept running different outages as we built these skills to do this. And we went through, and over time, all kinds of different studies and reading different books and running different experiments. And some of the building we did with, this is like 10 years later, with Toby. And it gave us a space where we started running experiments about how we create stories, how we connect with each other. And then we actually got into like, even all the way into creating like who we are in the world, like constituting who we are in the world. Right. And then we could show up, and in a matter of 4 days, we would be a team.
Is that where being your stand comes into play?
Being your stand and creating your way of being, not drifting into it. Because like any kind of project that you're working on or any kind of business, right? You're going to, with the Mike Tyson quote, right? You're going to get punched in the mouth. Yeah. It's going to happen. It's not if, it's when, and how many times and how bad. Yeah. But so then when you get punched in the mouth, you go, and we had all kinds of words for it, like ox cart in a ditch and punched in the mouth and all kinds of language that you go, oh yeah, we just got punched in the mouth, right? Yeah. But when you have the language to talk about it and you're expecting it because you built trust and you're connected, right? And I still like, it's one of the fun parts about that was to this day, somebody will come through Kansas City that I used to work with, and they'll find me out. They'll look me up and go, hey, let's get together for breakfast, right?
Oh, wow.
And what I notice is it's like we've never been apart.
That's fantastic.
Because we built these connections, and we built the skills to build the connections to do it quickly. So when people show up, like going to breakfast or lunch or whatever we decide to do, it's coffee sometimes, it's like we've never really been apart.
Wow. You said something that kind of triggered me, recovering engineer. And I remembered something when you said it, because you said it when we were having a beer the other night, and you mentioned it because I was showing you an issue I had with a broken tie rod on my car, and your engineering hat clicked on, and
yep.
I remember there was a time a few years ago we were on a weekly call. That's something kind of related to this, I guess. And you were talking about the TV series Chernobyl. And from what I
Yeah.
remember, it was like that's not supposed to be able to happen. But then you saw the show and you're like, wait, but it's happening.
Yeah.
Was that what you mean? Like, when you're an engineer, everything kind of fits into a certain way, and it's like mathematically precise.
It's easy as an engineer to understand the mechanics of how things work,
Mm-hmm.
and then you accept them. And just like the space shuttle is not supposed to blow up when it goes up in the air, and Chernobyl is not supposed to explode, but physics really does rule, and we don't always understand physics.
Right.
But when we're an engineer, we can think that we do know. But a recovering engineer is one who goes, "Well, that's the way it should work." But
Okay.
you never like you never know. We don't understand it. Like
Yeah.
the space we get into is we think we know the answers,
Yeah. Yeah.
when in reality we only know as much as we know.
So great.
And then life will, what do you say, get punched in the mouth,
Yeah.
and then you'll discover that, oh, that's a new story. I didn't know that one could
I,
exist.
yeah, I think about that like common sense, right? We study a lot about common versus uncommon sense,
Yep.
and I
Yes.
hear it all the time. Like, why can't these people like inside the company, right? Well, why don't they just do it? Which is common sense. And I go, well, I don't know. You're not a common person. Look what you're doing. That nobody does what you do. Maybe they just didn't understand what you meant. And I would notice this breakdown, like, oh, well, it's common to you because that's how you act. But the rest of the people that you're directing can't connect what it is your expectations are of them. And I was thinking about that, like, if this is the way I listen to you, and this is one of the questions I was going to ask too, is like business success kind of lives or dies in the strength of relationships, right?
Yes.
But why do so many leaders forget that truth? Like it's not. It seems like they don't know that it exists in the first place. I don't know if they forget it. It's almost like it's not there.
Um, so why do like, let's be fun. There's not a fundamental here, right? Like, it's not like it's like every business leader is ever going to forget something. Why do individual people forget that lesson that that
Like,
we just can't get people to do things,
yeah,
right? It's because they get punched in the mouth. They get stressed. They're not not taking their body, or their body has something going on with it. And when you forget that you are that too, like even other people out there, you go, they've got concerns, they got families, they got breakdowns, they got all these things going on in their life too. So do I. So you like to have a network of people around you, of leaders that are your backup, your coaches, your space to notice the world through, because you notice them through the other people. When you can do that, then your odds go up of not letting that happen. Now, I didn't say you prevent it. Your odds go up on preventing you from that happening,
yeah,
right? And so when you're looking at the people in the world, right, they've got all these concerns. If there is trust, if there is openness and vulnerability, if there's authenticity, then like people can raise their hand. And we took, like way back in the day, and got lots of other examples since then, but we were in the 30-day range and we got down to 9 days. So 30 to 9 days.
wow,
Right now, in that, to get to 30, from 30 days to 9 days, um, there's got to be vulnerability. There's got to be authenticity. Nobody's hiding anything.
yeah, that's tough.
Everybody's talking about everything, right? Because the only way to make sure that nothing causes a big delay, you got to have everybody working on whatever the breakdown is.
Yeah,
And you got to know everything that you're going to do so you can make sure that goes as well, because what you got to have time for is all the things you don't know.
mm.
Right. And if you're busy doing the things you know and you can't see the things you don't know, the things you don't know will destroy you.
Yeah, that is so true.
And then, so
That's where you see
if you can get,
assurances. Like people come in, I got it. Don't worry, it's fine. I've worked, and the reality is like they can't necessarily produce a complete strategic narrative about how they're going to do it because they don't know how to do it, but they don't want to look dumb or stupid or it's like fear.
well, yeah, they're hiding themselves, their fears inside, by saying, I got this.
Yeah,
And when somebody comes and say, I got this, what you're really seeing is not that they got this. What they're really seeing is their shield to protect their fears so they don't come into the world,
mm.
right? Because they want their fears to be hidden.
Yeah,
Well, the reality is everybody's afraid.
Where everybody is, yeah.
Everybody's afraid. Everybody's afraid of something or many things, or some people, everything, but just to deal with that.
Yeah. Man, that is so true. And I think the challenge for me, and I'm sure you've had this too, is when it's ultimately all the responsibility for everyone's mistakes falls on the person at the top of the accountability chart or org chart, or whatever we want to call it. I need people to be honest. But there's also a danger to, well, I don't say danger. There's a place where, sometimes I'll notice instead of taking responsibility, say, I don't know, it's like, well, they told me to do it. Or the computer system didn't work. Or we switched between two and it's a mess. And I don't, and so if you're on a meeting with professionals and you're trying to produce some sort of a new, agreement or alliance with them, and they're hearing these narratives, like, why would I want to be with a team that doesn't even know how to, one, take responsibility or lead, and they're blaming it on their computer? And I don't think it shows up, because what I'm noticing in these situations is people just want to understand, look, what they're really trying to say, I tried my best, but I don't have the right tools. And then what's missing is, can you help me get past this, rather than just frustration and wanting to be heard?
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on the situation. It's something I notice.
Yeah. Thanks, Mike. To be really vulnerable, this is not it's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you open up like that, when you can be open with people around you and you can talk about all those things, then everybody has an assessment of the real situation. Mm-hmm. And having a common understanding of the real situation is the foundation, right, for building trust. Mm-hmm. And getting things done that will not distract you. Yeah. Because we have to be able to apply our thinking towards where the breakdowns are that are coming, which means we have to give everything we know, we plan it and we get it out of the way, we move through that, right? But we also have to trust the people that are going to do it. And always something is going to cause a breakdown, and celebrate that. Yeah. Like there's a moment where you go, oh my God, we made a mistake. We need to hide it, right? Like that's one of the beauties of working in the nuclear power industry was there were a whole bunch of Navy boat drivers that came to work in the power plants, right? And so you get a lot of good nuke stories, right? One of the most famous ones that I love.
Good nuke stories. Okay.
Good nuke stories, right? So when a submarine goes out and goes underwater, everybody doing their job enables the submarine to stay alive. Mm-hmm. If anybody doesn't do the job, like the submarine could go to the bottom of the ocean and sit there forever.
Wow. So
it's like life and death every moment, right? And if you do things wrong, and they're humans, so they're going to do things wrong, right? They're going to make mistakes, they're going to make errors, they're going to do all that kind of stuff. If you raise your hand and say, I just screwed this up, their words are, you will have a butt chewing like you've never had before, right? And then they'll put their arm around you and take you back to work and go to work.
Yeah. Wow.
Right? If you hide something, right, and they find out, boat comes to the surface, hatch comes open, one person goes into a life dinghy, they close the door, and they go down.
Wow. Life and death.
Life and death.
No room for the hide.
No room for... Yeah. The phrase that they shared with me was, you're breathing my air.
Wow, that's powerful.
Right? Yeah. So now being vulnerable, being open is essential.
Yeah.
Now, I hold it, like for our project, we use some of the same thinking for all this kind of stuff. Being open and vulnerable and sharing all the stuff that's going on, talking about it, that's the key to success. Because then you can deal with problems you know about. If you don't know about the problem, you can't do anything about it.
So, again, in the life and death nuke sub situation, that is serious. But and I mean, really, you could make the same analogy to any business. If you're not doing it right and the business fails, you can't feed your family, you can't feed yourself, you can't pay your bills, you're dead. You whether hypothetically or literally, but literally you could die. I mean,
literally, yeah. You could die. Yes.
Yep. What I notice, I'm curious. Some of the ways to hide it so no one finds it seems to be behind like popular buzzwords, right? What are some that you've heard? Like the fake it till you make it, or just keep working harder, smart, work harder, or smarter, not harder, kind of thing. Like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do with this?
I don't know what fake it till you make it means. Um, we'll figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Like the story you have in your head. Not that you put it out in the world. Like, I don't know how to do this, and we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But I got to figure this out. I got to get it fixed, and then I'll put it out there.
Right.
Versus saying, no, here's the problem, here's the breakdown, here's what I'm thinking. What do you think? And then being open to, like, instead of saying like who has the right answer, it's who can build on somebody else's idea to create something bigger and stronger than any one of us could do. But you got to be open, authentic, and real with each other in that space.
What?
And this is, go ahead.
No, finish sentence. I think.
Well, and this is like, get out of the nuke stuff, right? And get into just running businesses like Houston, or when I live in Germany, or working at Calpine, these companies, like, it's all the same. Open, honest, being vulnerable, but you got to trust and really being connected to each other so people can trust you. They can come in and say, hey, this just happened. Not like, and you go, oh, it's really good we know that. And no matter how bad it is, I mean, we did things that delayed an outage by 7 days. That's $7 million.
Wow.
It was like a decision that happened in less than 15 seconds. $7 million went poof.
Oh my God. Getting a little palpitation now.
And because we let everybody know immediately, like everybody was like, you think everybody like would throw you off site or get you out of there, or no, they're going like, okay, what did we learn?
Yeah. So
we just bought a really good lesson. Let's take advantage of it.
Yeah. As you were going through all this, starting at age 23 forward, when did you start to put together the different parts of the Macklin Connection, or that strategy? Like, would you call it a strategy or an algorithm? How do you?
It's a methodology.
Methodology. Okay.
Yeah. I started putting it together like in the 7 steps about 14 years ago.
Oh, wow.
So I'm 16. We had a lot of fundamental steps we'd follow and do things, right? But I never put it in an order to where I could teach it to somebody else where they could hold it quickly, right? We built teams together. All these mechanics were inside of what we were building. But about 15 years ago, I started laying it out so I could take it to other companies and let other people see other teams, other spaces. One of the things I kept bumping into was people would say, "Oh, that's like, he's really good," or "They're really good. They did that great." And then we'd tell them what we did, and they'd look at us like we're from Mars, right? Like they go, "I don't understand the story. What does that mean? How did you get there?" And I go, "We did get there. See the numbers?" But they go like, "Yeah, I don't know how to do that."
So they couldn't connect that we taught you this method and these results happened, but they couldn't put together like
they couldn't see what we did because they didn't have the fundamental knowledges that we had been working internally.
Oh, got it.
They couldn't see the mechanics. They could say, "Oh, I see your results," right? In fact, I've been described as a miracle worker, which I don't like. There's a whole story with that, but I see how it could look to somebody else as magic when you start to produce results that nobody else can produce.
Yeah, I could listen. I'll tell you. So for background for our audience, right? It's an 18-week workshop, and I tried to attend. At the end, there's a completion dinner, sort of a celebration. I guess we call it celebration.
Celebration.
And I've attended them, not knowing what to expect, right? And because I was working with you when you were sort of beta testing all this years ago, trying to put it together, and I was like, I don't know. This is really cool. I don't know how to use it. In my situation, like, and I think where I run into is, and I want to get to this as a second question, but I think what I run into is, and this is a story I make up, but I think it's pretty well grounded, that the stories in a family business are so deeper than just a business with people that work together 8 hours a day and go home on Saturday and Sunday. Because we're seeing each other on the holidays and we grew up working together. So there's so many different layers to sort of work through to get to that authenticity and vulnerability. So when I was seeing you sort of work through this in the beginning, what I was curious about is what does it look like for you when you see this sort of cultural transformation in some of the clients that you had as you were putting this together? And you could throw us in there if you want. That was going to be the next question: is what does it look like for us versus other people? But it doesn't have to be versus. I'm just curious. Like, what I've never asked you that before.
Yeah,
Because I'm so in my head about how in the hell is this going to work here. And I attend the dinners, right? And I sit there going, I have no idea what to expect. I've known Ron, we've known each other for a long time. I mean, this was probably 10 years, but I've known of you at least, even if we didn't have a lot of conversations, for at least 25 years probably.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking, like, I watched what you were doing, I participated in what you're doing, I've gone through the workshops, I have no idea what to expect, from line cooks to supervisors to managers to HR to finance to all the people in our company. And I would sit in these dinners, and the stories they would share about how life-changing going through this was for them on a personal level, but also inside the business, and how they didn't see how they were ineffectively communicating, is what I say, to their team members and their direct reports and the people that follow in the kitchens or the dining room or whatever. And I just sat there going, like, my jaw drops every time. I'm like, wow, this is great. They're just human beings like me.
That's the really cool part. I mean, there's different places where, I mean, I've had, from this, we've had situations where somebody, for the first time, in the person who was 45 years of age, the first time in their life, they had a relationship with their mom.
Wow.
Right? Like on the getting on the call going, okay, I'm going to read this because if I don't read it, I'm not going to be able to finish. Right? And you go, so like some people take it and go to some place like their family, right? Other people come in and go, I got to talk to a customer who basically screwed me over, and we now have a new relationship, and I'm getting a contract with them.
Yeah.
And where somebody looks over and goes, that's the guy. Remember that guy I told you that fired me 6 years ago? Yeah, that's him. And he goes, you were able to have a conversation with the guy who fired you and got business? Yeah. Like they're stunned, right? Yeah. The person who did it, right? All of that. And so we see that when people come through our program, and like as a team or in a group, I'm always interested on where they take it. And what I mean by, like, some people, they will not take it to work. Mm-hmm. They gotta go home where they think it's safe, right? And some people will take it to work, but not home, because they're going like, I'm not taking it home because that is not safe, right? Like, but what they don't see, or what they're not getting out of that, is that whether you take it at home or at work, the person that you're modifying is you. The person that you're creating in the world with this new story about how to reach out, how to connect with the other person, how to be patient, how not to be in a rush, how to let the other person make the first move and you dance in, to toss lines, to all this stuff. They're building those skills that they didn't even know were possible. Yeah. Like, it's not like they said, oh, I can't do that because it's impossible. They didn't even have a story about it. Yeah. Which is how it showed up for me when I first started. Like, that worked? Like, really? And we kept working it and kept working it and kept working it. And also we realized we could really build trusting connections with people we've never met before, who were red or blue, or were old or young, generational differences, political differences, religion differences, race differences. All of a sudden, everybody's like, they're all the same.
Yeah, it's funny because if you would ask me, and maybe you have, I don't know, like a few years ago before we're doing this, I would say, yeah, no, I'm pretty open-minded, and I try to think about what other people care about, and I speak to that, and I think I'm pretty good at this. And then it starts, you had pointed out a couple of things I had said, which I won't go into detail, but they were about, this person is that way, and blah, 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 I don't care. And you said something that triggered me, like you tossed a line, as you would call it, right? And I thought about it later. I go, that's just bullshit I made up. That's actually, I don't even know if that's true. Like, why am I thinking that? I know better than that. Outside of working with you, we've studied a lot about people tend to, well, biologically, right? You listen to the things you care about. That's what shows up in conversations. And the rest kind of goes right out of your head. Like we have, I'm not a big sports guy, so a lot of times we'll have conversations at work, and there'll be people that are, and they'll relate what they're doing back to sports. And I have to think for a minute, because at first I'll almost get triggered to not listen, right? And then I'm like, no, that's their way of communicating. I need to understand why they're saying it that way. I got a text from someone who works with us, and it was like, look at this Instagram. This is exactly what we're doing. And he was referencing people in the Instagram. It was all sports related. I had no idea what he was talking about, and I had to park and play it, and then ask him because I didn't want to just dismiss it. He was very like passionate about what he was sharing. So I'm like, well, explain that to me. Who's this guy? Oh, okay. Oh, I got it. But, I was not being an observer of where I was just discounting things that could have been really important from people. And that was just one example. But there was others too. Like, I was going back to all the layers of family. There's some of those layers, like they're so deep in the foundation of the relationships inside the business, right? Family owned and operated for 70 years and really trying to get out of the operations part and just be owners. That's a big one, right? It's like I can't always connect that is not something for you to worry about because you're an owner. And what did we create? And you helped us create this was what is the vision, mission, and stand of the owners? It took a year to get us all to agree on what those things were and sign it and put it on posters and put it everywhere. And then people will come to me and they'll say like, we're creating this new product and I want all the ownership to taste it. I go, why? Well, I want the owners to approve. The owners, first of all, they don't go to bars. So if this is an alcoholic beverage, you're wasting your time. They're not the customer. Remember the poster? As long as what you're doing aligns with what we put on our vision of the owners, the mission of the owners, and the stand, what we will do and won't do and might do, you don't have to check with anybody. That's why we signed it. And it's so hard for them to get their mind around it. It's like, but the owners are around all the time, and I got to make them happy. Yes.
Yeah, Mike, I don't want to step over the significance of the story you told about the person that's in the Instagram, right? It could have easily, and this is normal. You get the Instagram and you go, yeah, I don't understand that. Go on.
Yeah.
Well, but there's something about his story that said, I need to send this to Mike.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you jumped in and said, well, tell me more. Like, explain it. Help me understand where you're at. And then the relationship that the two of you created in that space opens. The same thing when they said, if it's on the stand and if it's within that, go do it.
Yeah.
Like that's an opening where people go, whoa, because most people don't have that story.
Right.
And it's only when you make take a stand. But when you're using your stand to say, use this to guide you, at that moment, that person, like a new world is opening for them. And when the new world opens for them, like they go, I could just go create something as long as it falls within the stand. And then they do it. I can't, right? And then they're going to tell other people. Like they're going to go like, I did this. And they go, you did that without permission? I had permission. It's called the stand. It's right there. Right. And people are like, whoa. Yeah. Right. And that's how you get closer and closer, which is what we had. We had self-led teams. And you can say, how do you have self-led teams doing all these power plant projects, works and the projects and medical stuff and all that stuff? Because everybody understood the goals. Everybody trusted each other. Everybody knew when to raise their hand. Yeah. Everybody knew what was going on and when to get to help. And that's how you go. I always describe it, but because fast can be wrong, because people go, that's too fast, right? That's how you go really fast. But it doesn't feel really fast.
That's good.
It just feels like you're moving along at your normal speed.
Right.
All of a sudden, when the first time we set a world record, and you guys have actually got Guinness World Record. Ours are not Guinness; it's just world records. And
part of
we checked everywhere we could to make sure, but we didn't check. Guinness didn't come in and certify it like you did. But we were targeting 12 and a half days, like to get done in 12 and a half days. And on day 9, I called them up, and everybody was in shock. They're going like, I go, what's going on? We're a little worried. About what? We're done. I go, have you checked everything? Make sure you did everything? Everybody has checked every procedure to make sure that everything is done.
Wow.
We're a little freaked out because they didn't think they could do it.
Yeah. Wow. That's great.
Right. They thought they could do maybe, 12 and a half. They were all kind of banking on 13, right? Coming in a little behind. Well, they came in early. Then now the next time they went back out, 7.5 days was like that.
Yeah. That's great.
So the stories we have, the ones in our head, are the ones we created them, and then we forget that we create them. And when you can remember that you created them, then you can recreate them or create them anew, and that's what we see, like Orlando and others
Yeah.
have done for their organization. Nicole, and like there's a lot of people who are just alive with what they're doing, and that's them creating their stuff. Did they get it maybe from us? I don't care.
Yeah.
That they got it. That's what
And
matters.
Orlando's story is great, and I've been trying to talk to some of the employees of this a long time and interview them for some marketing we're going to do through HR and LinkedIn. And Orlando shared that story again about how I was really upset and I was going in half cocked to my kid's school because there was a fire and blah blah, and I stopped myself. And wait, I got the fish market shirt on. That's my identity, and I don't know what really went on. And he calmed himself down and he went in and he had a conversation rather than going in hot and angry. And he was like, thank God. Like, I wouldn't have thought to think that through without the method. Like, what's the situation? What lines can I toss? I'm not going in there to throw rocks and make it worse. I would find a way to resolve this. And he likes to share that was like an imaginable moment for him, where he saw things. And
What imaginal moment? What is that? Because people are going to ask that.
Why don't you tell me what that is? So I don't screw it up.
Yeah. Thank you for the prompt, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's my best AI prompt.
There is a caterpillar turns into a butterfly,
Mm-hmm.
and inside the caterpillar, when it's born, there's inside of it is what's called imaginal cells, and the imaginal cells just kind of do nothing until the caterpillar reaches a certain age of maturity, right? And the space, and then the imaginal cells trigger it to go build a cocoon and transform itself into something completely different. That's the mechanics of imaginal, right? The word imaginal.
Great.
Right. So we hold that we have something more powerful than the cells in our head. We have stories. And when we make up a story, we can think that it's real, right? But when we have an imaginal moment, it is something that's inside of our brain that's triggered us to say, what if that's not true? What if could be true? Or what if this could be possible? And new possibilities show up, right? And you can normally notice when somebody's having an imaginal moment because they get really quiet. They're thinking about, is that real? Could I really do that? Am I smart enough? I remember those conversations. Am I really smart enough to do this? And that's the time that people start to rewrite their stories of who they are, who they will believe in, who they will accept into their world. And it's very inclusive. It brings people in and they become very quiet, very humble, very vulnerable. And they find that they're much more connected to the people around them.
Right. God, just so much on my mind, and I don't want to go too long on this, but I was wondering, so one that I noticed like that. I don't know, is it so we were talking. So if you're going through the 18 weeks, one of the things that you introduced originally, right away, is a guy training or joining up with a horse. You want to talk about that a little bit, and then
Sure.
Yeah, explain what that is, and then I'll share how I used that. But it took me some time to see it. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll get to Monty Roberts and the horse in a moment.
Okay.
But we had created kind of these steps to do this stuff, right? And how it would work, right? And I would explain to people, and like their shields came out, like because they got to give up some stories, and they can't notice themselves because they're too busy being themselves.
Yeah.
And then when I found the Monty Roberts in the video, and Monty Roberts is a world-class horse trainer,
Right.
and he shifted how people train horses. Like there used to be, you break a horse, which means you break its spirit, and then you build its spirit back up as them being your slave. And Monty's story was that horses in the wild want to connect with another living being. And so instead of breaking them, he had them join him. So he had to figure out how to be a matriarch of the herd so that the horse would want to join with him. And he shifted the entire world. Lots of stuff out there. Really cool movie called The Cowboy and the Queen. If you want to learn more about it,
Great.
It's phenomenal, and it's a great place. And there's lots of videos out about Monty. And so what I found was, if I used the horse video as a tool for people to discover, they put their shields down. Like they're watching a horse going like, what is going on with that horse? Why did he do that? Why did the horse do that? Why did the person do that? Why did the cowboy in the middle, why did he do that? Why did they became really curious?
Yeah.
Right. And then all of a sudden they go, holy smokes, that's me.
Right. That's exactly where it's going.
Like all of a sudden you go, I'm the horse.
And I've been lucky to go with you, I think, 3 times to see Monty,
Yep.
and like within 20 minutes, he's got a jockey on the horse. He went from like bucking and running and doing all this stuff, and they do this, do this, do this, do this horse.
Horse, and then the horse run around, and the horse looks pretty happy,
Yeah,
not like broken, right?
yeah,
And the mechanics are when you can watch the horse do what it does, because we are we're closed systems. We're always thinking in our own heads, right? We're watching it go around, and pretty soon we go, "How does it? Oh my God, that's me!
mm,
I'm the one running around in the pen, or I'm the one chasing somebody, or I'm the one doing all this." And that's how we use the video, is because it allows us to notice ourselves.
yeah. And so
If it,
the way I used that was, and inside the video, right? He's tossing a light line, a rope
yes,
at the
a
horse.
line. It's officially a line.
Like, not
Yes.
here to hurt you. I'm harmless. It's just I'm trying to help. Is how I interpret it, and we do
Well,
that.
yeah,
Or
the line's not
tell,
really
tell
there
me.
to be a source of health, right? The line, because the way a horse is move in the world, they run in herds,
Hmm?
and the only way that they survive is they run in a herd, right? And if they're left alone in the wild, that's where mountain lions, wolves, and other things can attack them. And I've even heard Monty say horses are part of the food chain, was they feed the wolves and the cougars and
Yeah,
stuff, right?
yeah.
So then what Monty's doing with that, because the horse is wired in a way that the rear haunches is his weak spot, and he'll toss the line so that it lands and just kind of tickles
Right.
the
Not here
haunches.
to bite.
Not hit or by, like you're not hurting him, you're not yelling at him, but there are threats in the world.
Yeah.
And when you're under a threat, what is the best place to do? Be with somebody,
Mhm.
to not be alone. And he triggers the horse to say, I want to be with you.
Right.
Right. And then the horse comes right on in.
And what I was noticing and where I was using that, thank you for helping with that, is people tend to buck and run. And I'm like, I'm here to help. I'm not here to bite you. And it takes, sometimes you actually have to say, remember when we watched the horse was bucking? You buck a lot. I'm not your enemy. I'm here to help you. And they're like, oh.
It's one of the more common statements people use, like the horse sets the pace.
Mhm.
Like, when is somebody going to come join you? Whenever they choose to come join you.
It takes a lot of patience because everybody
It
really
takes a lot of
wants,
patience.
Mike, can you just tell us what to do so we know what to do and I can go home? I could, but that's not what you're getting paid for. I need you to figure that out, and we could all agree, but I can't solve all these problems. I don't want to be responsible for everything. I'm ultimately going to be responsible one or the other. But I can't make these decisions as HR. I don't know. I can't make them in operations. I'm not an operator that way. I know a little bit about marketing, but I would trust the marketing team to make these decisions. And that's like kind of the dance on our leadership team all the time. It's like, what should we do? Like, what do you guys think? Tell me. Like, try to get to, like, not opinion, not feeling, not emotion. Like, what's best for the business? We have these goals. We're trying to set them.
Yep.
And if you don't know, it's okay. Let's tell us what we don't know. Then we'll go figure it out. Whether we have to bring somebody in, like a Ron Macklin, to help improve communication, an entrepreneur operating system, or something else, that fills that gap of knowledge that we're noticing we have.
It is a common story where people have, is like, somebody needs to know what we're supposed to do, instead of, oh, no, we need to run experiments, get results, and figure out what's next.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how Monty mastered the process with the join up of the horses. That's how we figured out how to get to new cottages under short 9 days, right? That's how we built teams that set world records. That's how we built Best Place to Work in Houston, Texas. All those things are just a whole series of non-ending experiments, which starts with, I don't know what to do here.
Yeah, I don't know what to do. And that's hard to get to that. Once you get there, then you really can.
Once you get that, okay, good. Now we can start.
Yeah. Our mutual friend, Albert Dweck, who's been on here,
Yeah.
Albert and I were talking because we're both leading companies. And he goes, Mike, I want people on my team to come in and tell me they don't know what to do, because then I could start somewhere. But when they come in and tell me it's all rainbows and sunshine and unicorns, it's not. I know it's not. It's like, what are you hiding from me? It's my fault anyways. I'm at the top. If we screw it up, I hold it. But just tell me what we need to learn so we can work through it, and getting through this. So your system methodology has really been helpful in bringing shields down, so people are like, hey, So you want to go through like tossing lines, throwing rocks, and shields a little bit so people know?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, well, yeah. So it
or not.
It
But also just send them to you to learn. I mean, it's up to you however you want to review.
Yeah, no, I'll just give a quick one, because if they come to work with us, this first opportunity here is a recurrence that'll help them on their learning. right? So anytime we speak something, we can use a metaphor to describe how we speak, right? When we toss a line, like there's a way we toss it to help people discover mechanics, like of the world, right? Like when, like this example back from the horse story, when Monty tossed a line, right? He's helping the horse remember there's mechanics of things that want to eat you, right? And in the world, there are threats, right? And there are mechanics. There's compounding interest. There's time value of money. There's all these different things that are in the world, and you can help people discover those. And you got to watch out because if you toss a line, sometimes they come back and smack you in the head like a little bit because you go, "Oh, I forgot that too," like, or I discovered that.
Yeah.
But this is a way to be curious with each other and learn and grow. Then there's another way, which is like if there's not tossing a line that people can discover something, you can be floating a feather, and what that means is you say something that they don't even acknowledge, and they could even go, "Yeah, I got this," and I go, "Ooh, that was a feather." Like they didn't hear what I had to say. They heard what they made up in their head. And how do I toss it a different way? How do I say something differently? And then the last one, which is the rock. And when you throw a rock at somebody, right, their shields are coming up.
Yeah.
They feel the attack. They feel the heat, right? And they're not being curious. They're not being open. They're not being vulnerable. They're going to bring up their shields. So how we say things, and you could just say something like, I think we need to have a meeting next Tuesday. And some people may go, like they didn't even notice it, like it's a feather. And some people may go like, ooh, what's up the next Tuesday, right? And some people are going like, oh my God, it's Tuesday. Oh my God, it's Tuesday. He's gonna, right? Yeah, everybody makes up a different story. And you got to like check in. What'd you hear? What'd you make up? How do you feel about that? Like what's going in there? And this is all part of, if you want somebody to connect with you, it's their choice, which means you have to be interested in them and what they care about.
Yeah, that's so good. And that's the key is you got to be interested and be sincere about it, like, because it can, if you're just asking to like there's some people make up the story. Like, what do you want? Why are you asking me this?
Yeah. Well, I wish I had a $5 bill for every time somebody says, so what do you want?
Yeah, what do you bother me?
What do you want? What do you really want? What are you going after here? I'm going like, I don't know what I'm going after.
I was having this conversation yesterday, like, I've always been reluctant to be in the CEO role. It's not really what my ambition was. I have other things I want to do in my life. But there was this need for somebody to take leadership because of all the threats the business is with. And I just kept noticing, well, this is what I would do, and this is why I would do it, and this is what I learned, and this is what I did in the past in those situations. And it just sort of became like, well, then you are in charge because we don't know what to do. Okay. And what I've noticed is people, especially new people that come to the company, and I'm going to speculate probably, I'm not even noticing this, but just people I'm networking with outside of the company, when they see your title and your role and your owner and the restaurant, there's something about that they get intimidated by. Like I had an interview with somebody, I actually reached out to her for some help on e-commerce, and she was so nervous I could barely understand what she was saying. And she had a little bit of an accent. And she goes, you're this famous owner, movie star, TV show guy. I go, first of all, I do have a TV show on Amazon Prime. Couldn't tell you if anybody watched it though. Like I have no data, so it's just. But it was a story they made up, and it took a while till she calmed down in the call to where we could have a conversation because she was like intimidated by that. And I noticed inside the company too. I can't. I'm starting to notice that people are just saying what they think I want to hear out of fear, and it's not. It's never what I want to hear, by the way. But I don't know that what they're saying isn't. I don't realize they're doing that until I have to do a little research and look into it, and then figure out like what line do I toss there. Like it's okay to be wrong. I'm not a judge. I need to know though. So it's interesting.
The person that came on your conversation, that was intimidated by you, right? Mm-hmm. And it could be she was in awe of you, like or intimidated. Well, it doesn't matter. That you can notice it, and to build a connection with her, that's very powerful. Because some of the greatest ideas in the world get shut down by somebody who thinks they're not smart enough or not right or not have the position to share it. And that's where those brilliant ideas come from. Or they start something that builds on it, that builds on it, that builds on it. And that's the place where you get those really unique, powerful ideas.
Yeah, because the flip side of that is people in the company that don't share, don't believe, don't collaborate, they have these ideas they've come up with. And the challenge is, it's like, that is a good idea that we had 3 years ago, and we tried it 25 different ways, but you weren't part of any of that. So you don't know, and then they just want to be right. Like, well, you must have done it wrong. I'm like, listen, I'm fine with you trying it again, but it's on you to do it again. Like, you incur the cost and the risk, because we've already proven it doesn't work. We could be wrong, and we'll support you. But if you want to take up the mantle and do it, you have to own it, whether it's successful or not. And then nothing happens. And then you realize, okay, there's some work to do there.
And there's always more opportunities out there that people won't share it. But if you have an open conversation with people, you never know what you're going to learn. And you might not learn anything.
I'm just thinking, like, I spoke that narrative with a couple of people in mind, but at some point, as people, I wonder how many people will think I'm talking about them. Probably everybody, if they're watching.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't everybody talking about you.
Yeah, I got it. That's great. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah. I had a couple more things before we wrap up. One is, what would you, I mean, this is more of a question for me to answer, but I'm curious how you would answer. It's like, what did you notice that stood out working with our team? Because it's been a while now. I mean, we started during the pandemic, I think. There's
we did, right?
It was covered in Kings of Fish in one of the episodes on Amazon Prime. We talked about Orlando. Like, what else would you say kind of stood out as like, wow, that was cool, or I don't know. Like, I'm just wondering what you would have to share.
So one of the things that stood out was Henry,
my brother.
Yeah, right.
This is bullshit. I can't believe in this crap. I don't want to do it.
You do a pretty good Henry, which I do a pretty good one too, but I'm not going to do it here. Like, Henry's got a unique personality, like and he's brilliant, and he's much smarter than he thinks he is. Mm-hmm. And he's caring, more caring than people think he is. And to watch him buck, right, to push against it, to run away from it, and then to get to the place where he connected up with Carl in a way that was just, it blew us away.
Wow. That's cool.
It really blew us away. That was the one. I mean, whether people take it with their family or they take it to work, right? All those were amazing to watch them happen, and rewarding for us and hopefully for everybody at San Pedro.
Yeah.
But it also gives you a space of what can be possible when people pull those shields down and really jump in.
I thought I noticed too. I have one last thing, but I'll just make a comment to that. One of the things I noticed as you were saying that, there are people that come around, right? And they say, this is great. I don't know what I was thinking, or I know what I was thinking, but I was wrong. And I think with Henry, when I would mention that he should do this or consider doing it, I hate to do the should. That's the worst part. You go, as soon as you should somebody, it's over. Yeah, I should. Should I? Why should I? And I was like, consider this. And his story was, well, what's wrong with me? And I noticed that's a common story. It's like, where you tell me I'm broken and you want me to do this to fix me. I'm like, no, you're great. This is just a way to augment who you are to the next level, which, if we're going to build a business where we're trying to build it, we all have to do that. Like, I do it all the time. There's so much I don't know that I can never learn it all. So I have to surround myself with other people that can do things I can't, try to bring them into the company, try to help everybody else out. But it's, it's a story you run up against all the time. It's like, what's wrong with me? Like, nothing. Whatever you think is wrong with you. No, I don't know what it is.
But that's our shield,
mm-hmm.
right? That has protected us from all kinds of threats, right? And we're really good at that shield. Like, we can pull it out in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
The story I try to work with is, imagine not a modern self-drive car, but imagine a car that you were driving, but you can't touch the controls.
Yeah.
Like, you can't touch the steering wheel or the accelerator or the brake, right? You'd feel really, it'd be scary, right? But if you begin to understand how we as humans work, how we make up stories, how we connect with each other, it's kind of like reaching out and grabbing hold of the steering wheel and a shifter, finding the brake, finding the clutch, finding the gas, getting connected to all those things about who you are and how you get to create you. Because we are human, right? And we work a certain way and we create a certain way, and what we create ourselves into, that's up to you.
Yeah.
And that's what I saw with many, including Henry and many others in your business.
And it was like, one of our friends was telling us, I won't be available to Jewish holiday. I have all my electronics going to be shut off. I'm like, oh, and my story was, well, that's fantastic. Can I become Jewish just to shut all mine off? A whole day? And the person next to me was like, oh my God, no, electron. What if there's an emergency? What do I do? What if someone needs to get a hold? What if I have to save the day? And I was like, wow, that's a crazy different story. Like, I would look forward to being disconnected for a day, but this person was freaking out about it. And I'm like, okay, that's good to know. Like, I didn't know that about them. I guess I should have, but okay. So
did you just shit on yourself?
Yeah, I should know.
I should have known that. Yeah,
you shitted all over me. Okay, so let's do this. People want to learn more about Ron Macklin and what you offer. You have a book, you have a website. Where do you want to point everybody? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so our website is MacklinConnection.com. That's a great place to go. You can learn about our offers and what we do. There's also the Imaginal community. Inside the Imaginal community, that's in Mighty Networks. And so inside the Imaginal community, which is named after the Imaginal cell we talked about earlier, that's a place for us to learn. Like that's where we as a group and all of our customers go to learn. So if you go through a program, it's an Imaginal community. If you work in the Praxis lab or you work any of the other offers we have in there, and it's really Praxis means practice. Like it is a place to practice and learn with people that are safe. Yeah. Like because everybody else is in that space is in the same place trying to learn something. You can check out our podcast, which is The Story in Your Head. On that, a new episode drops every other week. All right. And we also have my book, which is Everyone is Afraid, which is it's a story that all the characters inside there, sorry, they're me. Like I did all those things and screwed them all up, right? And so I captured all those and turned them into different characters. And then let people discover that everybody is afraid.
What's cool about it is it's told as a narrative or a parable. It's not like a business book with how-tos. It's like where you could relate to, oh, yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, it's not a long read.
I did not put your face on any of the female characters till right now, though. So now it's going to mess with you.
Yeah, and it's a 4.5 hour read, which means if you get on a plane in LA and go to New York, you can probably finish it before you land. Mm-hmm. And it's and if you like to hear my voice, if that's something you enjoy, you can listen to it for 4.5 hours on Audible.
All right, cool. I didn't know you narrated the book. That's awesome.
Yep, I did. That's an experience. Reading your work and getting the emotions right is it was more challenging than I thought.
Oh, I bet.
Because it kept pulling up stuff in me that were like more vulnerable than I anticipated.
Wow. All right. Dug in a little deep. Well, I am going to wrap us up now. Thank you for joining my podcast, Fish Factor. Thank you for everything that you've done for the company, for me, for your friendship, for all the people I know through you, and for all the work we've been doing together. It's fantastic. Really shifted.
Mike, it's an honor, and I'm honored to be a part of what the San Pedro family. Mm-hmm. I consider myself like a distant cousin, right, in the family, right, or that crazy uncle. Maybe that's
Kansas City Connection.
Kansas City Connect. And the difference you make for all the families that work for you and all the customers. I mean, it's a lot of fun when somebody says, "So, who do you work with?" And I go, "Well, one of our customers is San Pedro Fish Market." And they go,
"Really?
In LA?" I go, "Yeah." Wow. I love that place.
Crazy.
It's an easy, instant connection with people. And so thank you and your family and your father and grandfathers and everybody else who created that space and all your brothers and sister who is creating it now.
Thank you very much. All right. That's it. Thanks for listening to Fish Factor. I'm Mike Ungaro. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. You can also check out all the episodes of Kings of Fish right here. You can learn more about our restaurants at sanpedrofish.com, or you can follow our social media handles at San Pedro Fish. And to watch the show and learn more about the show, you can go to our social media handles at Kings of Fish.